Hello. It is 16 degrees outside. It's about to start snowing again. And where I live, we're doing like rolling timed blackouts to conserve energy, so there's a good chance that like the green lights behind me will go out. Who knows? It's the only power I'm using. My ring light is attached to like a portable charger, so I even turned my heat off so the fan wouldn't make a noise while I'm recording. So I want to make a list of 6 of my top horror movies. It's very difficult for me to, like, on the spot, if I'm asked, hey, Katie, what are some of your favorite horror movies? I almost never can answer them. Like, in fact, I don't think I've ever really given an answer before. Or I would say, like, at least one of these movies. But I think anybody who, like, watches a lot of movies can understand the feeling that you like so many of them, maybe not equally, but you like them for different reasons. And for you to pick only one makes you feel like you're discrediting the other movies that you really like. So instead of just saying like 1, I'm just gonna list off 6. And I'm only doing 6 right now, but I do plan on doing like a part 2 or whatever of like some of my top favorites, because I have a lot and I don't want to put them in very specific genre categories, because like on this list there's like an anthology film. I like a lot of movies that are based around Halloween time. I like a lot of home invasion movies, or like a lot of survival horror, or like sci-fi. So I don't want to put this into a genre list. I'm literally just going to list out some movies. So I'll stop explaining myself to death and I'll just get started. So the first one I'm going to talk about is 13 Ghosts from 2001, directed by Steve Beck. This movie is about a family that inherits a spectacular old house from an eccentric uncle. There's just one problem. The house seems to have a dangerous agenda all its own. Trapped in their new home by strangely shifting walls, the family encounters powerful and vengeful entities that threaten to annihilate anyone in their path. One of the biggest reasons why I love this movie is the extra feature you get on the DVD copy. It has the guy who plays the uncle kind of giving a commentary over this little feature, and it's a backstory of each ghost, and it just adds so much to like the story, because in the actual movie they don't really go over like the history of the ghosts. They just kind of look gruesome and are crazy, and then that's it. But in this feature, if you watch it kind of like after the movie or even before, it doesn't matter, but you learn about each of the ghosts and like kind of their history and why they are the kind of like the type of ghosts they are. And if you haven't seen it before, like, you would just need to watch it to understand what I mean by the type. And I'd really love to see an in-depth anthology type TV show where each episode is like the life and death of the ghost character. I do remember rewatching this movie and the extra feature often, like over and over when I was younger. I was definitely too young to be watching this movie. This next movie is... I can't explain it. It makes me feel like a kid again. And I know it's like not a great movie and the effects aren't super great, but it has Elijah Wood in it. And it is The Faculty from 1998, directed by Robert Rodriguez. And this movie is about otherworldly parasites controlling the faculty of Harrington High, and they're trying to infect students one by one in an attempt to take over humanity. A horror spin on a Breakfast Club trope of students, the teens team up to fight back against the invaders. And like, Elijah Wood plays this super wholesome, little nerdy, shy photographer kid, and he's like scrawny, and I love him, and we must protect Casey at all costs. Although, if you watch the movie, you know that he doesn't need that much protecting. That's my boy. It's definitely a movie from the 90s. It doesn't age well with like kind of the jokes it makes. There's a lot of like homophobic jokes towards the goth character Stokely, who by the way is a goth icon queen. It is super corny. There are parts that are really cheesy. You know what? I'm not gonna defend it. I really love it. If you like late 90s kind of, I wouldn't say it's campy. Just, it's good. If you like alien movies and you like teen scream movies, you will like The Faculty. The next movie on this list might be controversial to include without the rest of the trilogy, but it is Army of Darkness from 1992, directed by Sam Raimi. Ash is transported back to medieval days where he is captured by the dreaded Lord Arthur. Aided by the deadly chainsaw that has become his only friend, Ash is sent on a perilous mission to recover the Book of the Dead, a powerful tome that gives its owner the power to summon an army of ghouls. Now, I do really love Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. I even really like the remake that they did in 2013. I think it was 2013. With the girl, the lead character, Jane Levy. Oh, she's so good. Anyway, like, I love all of those. But I think the reason why this is one of my top favorites is strictly nostalgia. Because it was the first one I saw out of the three. And it was when I was very young. I mean, I was born in 1990. This came out in 92. I was way too young seeing that. I couldn't have been older than like 7 or 8. I'm not sure about that. I just remember having nightmares from the evil Ash, the one that gets like his face blown off and he's just got like the bottom teeth and he's all burnt and crispy looking. Like, I remember having very vivid nightmares about that and creatures that looked similar to it. So the next movie on this list is Trick or Treat from 2007, directed by Michael Dougherty. Interwoven stories demonstrate that some traditions are best not forgotten. Residents of a small town face real ghosts and goblins on Halloween night. This anthology demonstrates the consequences of not abiding by Halloween traditions and the terror and beasts that rise during this sacred holiday. I have no idea how I found this movie. I don't remember stumbling upon it anywhere, so that means I must have rented it on a whim, maybe like online or at my local family video. All I know is this movie made me so interested in anthology type movies, which are some of my favorite, if not like my only like favorite subgenre. The rest I'm just like, it's horror, I like it, whatever. I even plan on doing a video later where I talk about some of my favorite horror anthologies, so that's something to look forward to. I just really love the environment and like the vibe and the setting that this movie puts off. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I really love Halloween themed things. I even have a part of my apartment that is like dedicated and decorated Halloween all year round, and it's right above my physical horror collection, and I watch it several times throughout the year, not just on Halloween. Little bonus, there is a graphic novel sequel called Trick or Treat: Days of the Dead, for even more Sam and some Halloween fun. The story that's in there called The Corn Maiden, it's literally my favorite piece of like comic content ever. I read a lot of comics, and for this to take like a tippy top space in my head and in my heart means that, like, I don't know, I hold this story in high regard, and I will recommend it to people when they ask for like spooky reading recommendations. So yeah, if you like graphic novels, if you like Trick or Treat, go look up Trick or Treat: Days of the Dead. The next movie I feel like doesn't even need an introduction really. It's The Thing from 1982, directed by John Carpenter. This movie is centered around a group of scientists in Antarctica that are disturbed at their base camp by a helicopter shooting at a sled dog. When they take in the dog, it brutally attacks both human beings and canines in the camp, and they discover that the beast can assume the shape of its victims. Soon, a gory battle amongst themselves starts as the team tries to survive and figure out who is a shape-shifting body horror imposter. This movie made me fall in love with body horror, and I think it's safe to say that this movie has got to be on multiple people's top lists. I mean, John Carpenter is a legend as a director, not even just for horror. If you're looking for like some classics to start with, especially on like first getting into horror, and you can handle gore, and you can handle, I wouldn't say it's got like a ton of jump scares, but it's also like from the 80s, so there is that kind of like older movie charm to it, but it is still terrifying. This last movie is called Wishing Stairs, released in 2003, directed by Yoon Jae-yeon. It's a South Korean horror film following Jin Song in a boarding school, an aspiring ballerina who desperately wants to get into a world-renowned arts academy. To improve her chances, she takes advantage of a local school legend. If a student walks up the dormitory staircase and counts all 28 steps, a 29th step will appear, and a spirit will grant her a wish. But when her friend suffers a horrible accident, Jin Song realizes too late that she doesn't have control over how her wishes get fulfilled. this story is so heartbreaking. It does follow, obviously, like the main character Jin Song, but there's another girl. She's like a chubby outcast who is like really good at making art and drawing and stuff. She's actually the character that introduces Jin Song to the legend. She actually uses the wishing stairs to lose weight, and you see it kind of affect her in a really negative way by like the end of the movie. So this is just a really good, well-written plot, and I can tell you for a fact this won't be the last Korean horror film that I showcase on this channel. So yeah, those are the movies that I kind of hold near and dear to my heart. It's just 6 of them. I have plenty more. I will say I'm open to recommendations, so if there's something that you think I should watch based on what I listed, maybe something similar that you've seen, just drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think I should watch. Maybe it'll make an appearance in a future video. So yeah, I'm gonna go snuggle with my cat, stay warm, continue to hope that my power doesn't go out, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye!